Hi, Cowboy. Are we live on the internet yet? Let's see. Cowboy. Are we live on the internet? Let's see. Let's see. Little Cowboy. Okay. Okay, I think we're live. Whoops. Let's see. Okay. Okay, hi, everybody. Sorry I've been so quiet on social media this week. Many people have been sending us messages, worrying about us. Everyone at Camp Cocker is safe. I got little cowboy dude on my lap. Cowboy, you want to say hi? Here. You want to say hi, cowboy? Look, you want to say hi to the peoples? More people are logging in. I know. Cowboy's doing great. He was neutered. He's healed up. He's ready for adoption. He's doing great. So I wanted to talk about everybody who's been affected by the fires. It's been a really sad few days. The news coverage has been worldwide. Our rescue partners in South Korea and Mongolia have been worried and checking in on us, but everyone at Camp Cocker is safe. All of our volunteers are safe. All of our dogs are safe. Everybody's safe. I did want to talk about how this is going to change everything for Los Angeles and what you could do for the local rescue community here, the local dogs. So first I have some sad news to share. And this happened this morning. Our dog Toby, he was, I don't know if anyone remembers Toby. He was relinquished to us. Does anyone remember Toby? Little freckle face. So Toby was relinquished to us. It was in November, and he had a history of seizures. When we got Toby, he's so handsome. We lost him. We lost him today. So when we got Toby, he had just gotten out of the hospital and he was having a lot of seizures. He was on 2 different seizure meds. We immediately took Toby to a veterinary neurologist and had an MRI, and they said they didn't see any lesions on the brain. Everything looked normal on the MRI. They also did a spinal tap on him. This was in November to rule out any, they were looking for any fungal infection or bacteria in the vertebrae to see if that was causing his seizures. So all of that was ruled out. He continued to have seizures. He also had a lot of anxiety. So our vet prescribed Toby an anti-anxiety medication that's safe for seizure dogs. And then she also changed up his medication. He was getting 2 different seizure meds. One was every 12 hours, one was every 8 hours. He was on vet CBD. He was on some Chinese herbs to support his neurological system. We had just gotten him, we had just gotten this for him a week ago. It was this, if I can find a picture of it, it's like a little vest with a loop, like a magnetic hoop that goes over their head, and you put it on them when they sleep, and it helps to calm the brain. And he was continuing to have seizures. We kept trying to, we were working with the vet, of course. Every time he was having seizures, we called the vet. And so this morning, Toby started having a seizure. And what the neurologist gave us was this emergency It's for dogs having a seizure. It's an emergency spray, and I think it's got Valium, and you spray it in their nostrils. And in the past, when Toby's been having seizures, it works. It stops the seizure almost instantly. Today, it wasn't working. He was actually with a rover sitter who is a vet tech. Thank God. Thank God, like she has the skill set. She called me right away. She said the first emergency spray did not work and he was still seizing. And now it had been like 6 minutes. And then I told her, give him a second dose, get him in the car and get him to the vet. While she was driving to the vet, he was still seizing. I called the vet. I said, Toby's en route and he's still having a seizure. So they were waiting and ready for him when he arrived. And they were waiting for him with the euthanasia drugs because we knew that it was time. So it was, by the time he arrived, from the time the seizure started until the time he arrived, 40 minutes had passed and he had not stopped seizing. I didn't know a dog could live for 40 minutes and continue having seizures. So I didn't know that. This is a first. The vet staff was waiting. They gave him the sedation. It's an injection of Valium, I think, just to get him out of the seizure. And then they euthanized him. And I didn't know if he was even going to be like arrived at on arrival. So I didn't get there in time. And but my vet was nice enough to by the time I'd gotten there, the vet had wrapped him up and made him look so peaceful. Let me show you what they did for me. They wrapped him in a blanket and just made it look like he was just having a little nap. They made it look really peaceful for me, and I got to say goodbye to him. They cleaned him up. He had blood all over because, when dogs are having seizures, they're biting their tongue and blood was everywhere. So they cleaned him up. I've got his little collar here and it's got blood on it. I'm going to wash it. But, so that was a very sad start to our day, considering it's not been a happy week here. But, it's interesting because all day I've been having regrets, like going, because I remember even after he'd seen the neurologist, after we adjusted the medication and he was having more seizures, my vet had said to me, Kathy, you might want to start considering euthanasia. It wouldn't be wrong. And I was like, oh, we spent $5,000 on the MRI and the spinal tap, and we're doing, we've gotten him this far. I was making excuses basically to say, let's give him a chance. Let's give him a chance. And I do want to always give every dog a chance. But something inside me told me I should have euthanized him, and I didn't. I just felt like, I wasn't 100% positive that keeping him alive was the right thing to do. But I didn't know because I've had seizure dogs before. They lived, reasonably long lives and their seizures were managed. But this is like nothing I've never seen before. He was not on just one seizure medication. He was on 2. Both were at like high dosages. And he was still having seizures. So, and it seemed to be progressive. Anyway, so yeah, I'm having a lot of regrets today because I didn't make the decision to euthanize him a month ago when I could have. The last 40 minutes of his life were awful. Hindsight's 20/20, right? Anyway, this is going to be something I'm going to remember for the rest of, as long as I'm running Camp Cocker. It's like running a rescue. You're always learning, always learning. And this experience, I'm going to remember this experience. And the next time, and I hope we never get a dog like this again, but the next time we get a dog that has such bad seizures that they can't be controlled. I need to not wait until it gets to the point where the dog's life ends in a 40-minute seizure. I need to do the right thing sooner. So, oh, and then our volunteer Nami communicated with Toby. I don't know if anyone wants to hear. I don't know if anyone wants to hear this. Our volunteer Nami is an animal communicator. You know what? I can do another post about it. It made me cry, actually. Well, actually, here, I might as well just read it to you. It's for anyone who believes in animal communication. So I had called Nami immediately when I knew that Toby was in the car en route to the animal hospital, and she was trying to connect with him. Now, she's communicated with him in the past, so it was like a recheck, like checking back in with him. So she should have been able to reach him pretty easily. And she was trying to connect with his energy, and she couldn't. She's like, it's fuzzy. I can't connect with him. And I'm like, oh, I think his seizure is still going on right now. So then after he was euthanized, I called Nami and told her that he was gone, and she waited a little bit, and then she was able to get a really clear communication. I'm going to read you what, I don't know if anyone's interested in this, because then I wanted to talk about the fires and stuff, but I'll read you what Nami got from the communication with Toby. And then she mentioned someone named Myra. Myra is the rover sitter that's been taking care of Toby. Okay, so here's what Toby said, and this was after he passed over the rainbow. This is Nami's message to me. As I turned into him, he started running towards me, gave me lots of kisses. He says he sees his friends and he feels so much better already. He seemed that he didn't understand that he had passed, although he says he has been in and out of his body quite a lot. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe when he has a seizure, he's out of his body. Okay. He's not scared. I told him that now he can go places without any limits. He doesn't feel afraid to be confined or not getting enough attention. He said he already feels so much more confidence, and he likes how he is feeling right now because he fought hard for his life. He says he wished he could have had more physical contact with people. The first 3 years of his life, he lived outdoors. That's the history that we got. As a puppy, he lived outside for 3 years. Toby said he wishes he could cuddle more with Myra and her family. That's the only thing he missed right now. He says he's very proud of himself for being strong, and he didn't give up on his life. He's proud of himself. He said he knew his body was weak compared to others, but he wanted to live his life fully. He said his doggy mom already came to him and said how proud of him she was for being a brave boy. I don't know if his dog mom is alive or passed. I don't know, because he was a breeder dog. I don't know where he came from. He says he wants to stick around here a bit more, and he loves how he can just follow everyone around. That's like in spirit, like checking in on people. He says he knows he was a good boy and everyone loved him. I told him how Myra and Kathy, all of people who have been caring for you, loved you so much, and we are all proud. He says he knows that we're proud of him. He says he feels sorry that he was a bit demanding and loud sometimes. He had anxiety. He says he really loved Myra and her family, and he wants to come back to visit and say hi after he enjoys traveling around in the spirit world. Then he went back to his dog friends, and he already has friends. He already has friends over the rainbow. Okay. He went back to his dog friends and said he will keep in touch with me, and he knows he can be free and confident now. And this was Nami. Nami said, I could sense already that he has many spirit guides around him. So that was the communication with Toby after he passed away today. Anyway, so that was how the day started. And then I've been wanting to talk about the fires in Los Angeles. And so I did want to talk about, we're getting so many questions from people from outside of the area who maybe don't understand how big the fires are, or don't understand like where they are or the layout. So even my relatives, I'm from Illinois, my relatives are like, are you going to get out? Are you going to evacuate? And I'm like, no, I'm not anywhere near the fires. I don't even smell them. So it's a massive, hang on, I looked up some statistics to share with everybody. Okay. Los Angeles County has just under 11 million people. So if you Google how many people live in your home state, chances are your state is smaller than Los Angeles County. I just looked up all this data. There are only 8 states with a larger population than Los Angeles County. I did not realize that until I looked it up today. There are only 8 states with more people living in them than Los Angeles County. It's an insanely big county. I'm going to read you the numbers of acreage. So Los Angeles County in acres has 3,040,000 acres. Okay, so I'm going to tell you the statistics on the 2 fires. There's 2 fires and they're still burning. And I'm going to give you the statistics on the 2 fires that are burning. One fire is the original one called the Palisades Fire. It is currently burned 23,713 acres, and it's only 11% contained. The second big fire is called the Eaton Fire, and currently it's burned 14,117 acres, and it's only 27% contained. So, okay, so for comparison, I looked this up too. This is 2.5 sizes of land of Manhattan. Manhattan is 14,600 acres. The current fires, the 2 fires that are nowhere near being contained, have a land mass that's 2.5 sizes of Manhattan. Think about that. It's enormous. It's an enormous amount of land and homes. So to give people's perspective, it's going to change Los Angeles forever. I mean, and I think this is the biggest national disaster. I think it's bigger than any hurricane. Like 9/11 was a massive loss of human life, but the rebuilding and the cleanup is nothing compared to this. And that was a huge amount of toxins and debris in the air. This is spread out over all of these acreage, all of this land. So, and so the first fire that started is in the Pacific Palisades. And if people don't know Los Angeles that well, the Pacific Palisades is along the ocean, and it's along Pacific Coast Highway, and it sits between Santa Monica and Malibu. And those are 2 places you've probably heard about or seen in TV shows. The Pacific Palisades Yes, it's an affluent area. Celebrities live there. This is true. However, it has a lot of middle class people and people who are living in houses that were multi-generational. So people who are living in houses that belong to their great grandparents. So not all of Los Angeles, not all of the Palisades are wealthy people. You're just seeing things on social media like, oh, this celebrity's house is gone. It's not all of celebrities and it's not all wealthy people. There's a lot of middle class people who have lost homes that they've lived in, that their parents lived in, that their grandparents lived in, that their great grandparents lived in. The Pacific Palisades was a middle class community when it was first built. And so yeah, so there's a misperception that it's all these wealthy people. It's not. Yes, it has a lot of wealthy people, but it's not all wealthy people. There's a lot of middle class people. There were more fires. I think there were up to 6 fires, but the others are all contained or mostly contained. So now we're just down to those 2 big fires. The other fire is called the Eaton Fire, and that is on the opposite end of Los Angeles. It's near Pasadena, and it started in a little town called Altadena. Altadena is very much a middle class community. It's a small town, and it's north of Pasadena. I think people probably have heard of Pasadena from the Rose Bowl. So I think that's how people might think of Pasadena. There's a lot of old buildings, historical sites in Pasadena. So Altadena is I can actually show you on the map. Let me see here. I'm gonna see if I can show you if I can share my screen. Let me try. Share screen. Share screen. Here we go. I'm gonna just show you really quick so you can see. So here is. You can see there's California. Here we're going to zoom in on the Los Angeles region. And so over here on the bottom by the ocean is the Palisades Fire. And up here on the top right-hand side is the Eaton Fire. And this is, you can see Pasadena. And then up here is Altadena. So it's a middle-class community. I mean, yes, there's some wealth in Pasadena. There's some, but it's not all wealthy people. There's a lot of very middle-class people in Altadena. Same thing, they lost their homes that have been passed on down through generations. So here, I'm going to zoom in on this. The Eaton Fire is currently at, let me see here, 14,117 acres. It's 27% contained. And all this stuff up here, the red stuff, that's the Los Angeles National, that's a forest. And then down here, like, let me just show you, like LAX right there. This is LAX. And actually when the fire started in the Palisades on Tuesday, I think the planes, because of the smoke, the planes were circling and having to stay. I think there was a lot of delays coming into LAX and leaving LAX on Tuesday. So you can see that the Palisades Fire is all along this is so beautiful, the ocean and Pacific Coast Highway, so beautiful. But so Los Angeles County is enormous. So Los Angeles County is, I'm going to say, all the way up here, all around here. More winds are supposed to be coming tomorrow through Wednesday, but I'm hoping they're not bad enough that the firefighters can't get in by the helicopter air. I'm sorry, I'm not speaking great. I'm stumbling on my words. I'm sorry, I just had an emotional day and an emotional week. So there's so there's a lot of misinformation online about why the fire started. And I want to sort of explain to people who maybe didn't understand the science behind it. Well, California has been a very dry state. Cowboy, do you want to say hi? Cowboy's camera shy. So California is a very dry state, and it has been since like the 1800s. There was a song in the 70s, "It Never Rains in California." I just been thinking about that all week. Anyway, so California started having a severe drought in 2012. Lack of enough rain, and we already were a state that didn't get much rain. So the drought created a situation where there's dry vegetation everywhere. And think about if you just didn't see rain where you live for like, I think a few inches a year and that's it. Think of how dry everything would be. Everything, the mountains, the hillsides. So it was basically a tinderbox. Our state is a tinderbox because of the drought. And so I'm going to put you down, cowboy. So then we had these winds coming. So we do. This is Cece. Say hello. Hi, Cece. We're explaining about the fires to the people. You don't know nothing about no fires. She doesn't know nothing about fires. So basically, we have these winds that we're used to. They're called the Santa Ana winds, and they come in from the Great Basin, which everyone read about in their history books in elementary school, or Google it. So we get these winds. They're called the Santa Ana winds, and we're used to them, and we're used to fire season and from the winds. And we've had so many wildfires, especially in the last, 5 or 6 years. Wildfires have been a thing and pretty bad. One of them was very close to me a few years ago, like 5 minutes from my house. But I'm not near the foothills. I'm not near a mountain or the foothills. I'm like on flat land where it's a lot of cement, and I'm near a freeway, so I wasn't in an evacuation zone. But we're used to winds. We're used to wildfires, but what we are not used to are these winds that are like on steroids. So these winds that we had starting Tuesday were hurricane force winds between 80 and 100 miles an hour. And so anyone who lives in a hurricane region knows those winds are scary, and you can't fly helicopters in those winds. So when the Palisades fire started on Tuesday morning, firefighters couldn't. What they would have normally done was they would have gotten in the air. They would have gotten their helicopters up in the air. They would have been dropping water. They would have been dropping, spraying fire. There's pink fire retardant spray that they spray in wildfires, and they spray it to try and contain the fire. So they'll spray it around to try and keep the fire contained. And then they'll do water over the fire. So they couldn't get in the air. They couldn't get their helicopters up. So that's why a small little fire in someone's, I think I read that it started just in someone's backyard or something, probably, who knows, just a little tiny spark started that Palisades fire on Tuesday morning. And because the winds were going 80 to 100 miles an hour, it was blowing in embers, and it was panic, and people were fleeing in their cars. And then because everyone was trying to get out of the Palisades where the fire started, the fire trucks couldn't get in. Like, they couldn't get up the road because cars were jamming trying to get down the road, and the firefighters couldn't come from the air. So then people were being told, just park your cars on the side of the street and get out on foot, because the fire trucks need to get up there, and they couldn't get up there. And then so people are leaving their cars and walking down on foot, but a lot of cars were in the street. So then, oh my God, it was so, you probably saw news footage. They had to take these industrial bulldozers and bulldoze car. It was like 20 or 30 cars had to be bulldozed to make way for the fire trucks. So by the time the fire trucks could even get up to the fire, it was no longer just one house. The wind had blown these embers. It was already spreading. And then and then more houses are on fire, and the embers from those houses were blowing. Think what 80 to 100-mile-per-hour wind is. Think of like hurricanes. You've seen hurricane footage on TV, trees falling over. That's how those embers just went. It was surreal, like a movie. Like you just couldn't believe seeing it on TV. I mean, I've been watching the news all week. You just couldn't believe it was real. It didn't look real. And then the hurricane, they couldn't get control of the fire until they could get in the air. And I don't think they were able to get in the air until, was it Thursday morning? I feel like it was Thursday morning. The winds came down enough that they could get up in the air. And once they got in the air, then they could start doing the things that they would have wanted to have been doing immediately when the fire started. So it was, anyway, so that's how it started. And then when the Eaton fire started, same situation. So one little fire started, and within minutes it was out of control and blowing from the hurricane winds. It was just, it was terrifying to watch. And one of our volunteers actually evacuated. Her house was, her and her husband, their house was right across the street. Like the fires, they were evacuating, and she said the flames were 20 feet high across the street, and they were just trying to get out. All they could grab was their passports, a box of photos. Their dog was safe, and 2 cars. And she said the smoke, they could barely breathe. In the cars, the windows up, they could barely breathe. So anyway, so that's how these fires started, and that's why they weren't able to get contained. It was the winds, and these were unprecedented winds that we're not used to getting here. And so I've seen a lot of misinformation online saying, oh, the fires were out of control because the fire hydrants were empty. And no, there was other fire hydrants with water. The firefighters were taking water from people's swimming pools. It wasn't because the fire hydrants were empty. This, I mean, basically is climate change. This is what we as humankind, we were told 30 years ago, 25 years ago, we were told that, we need to change how we treat the earth. And yeah, here it is. Everything that we were told was going to happen. Hurricanes on steroids, tornadoes on steroids, snow blizzards on steroids, fires, heat. I mean, the heat, since I've moved to Los Angeles 32 years ago, I would say maybe 2 weeks a year, the temperature would be triple digits. And now it's like, 3 months a year, just a quarter of the year, it's triple digits, no big deal. It's just, it's climate change. And whether there are still people who don't believe in climate change, and that's unfortunate. Something else I was Googling today, I've just been interested in looking for facts and not, climate change is not fake. I think I've got to get rid of this guy. I'm sorry. This is not the place. I don't want to talk with someone who's saying that climate change is fake. That's misinformation. So basically I was looking on, I was just curious to see, because I know that the United States had joined the Paris Climate Accord. And I was just interested to read more about that. It was a lot of countries that joined it. It was in 2015. And the countries that participated and joined the Paris Climate Accord. Am I saying it right? It was all the major countries, and everyone agreed that by 2025, they were going to work towards mitigating greenhouse gas emissions. Things like more solar, hybrid vehicles, electric vehicles. I'm really glad to see electric vehicles are becoming a thing now. It used to be something that was laughed at, but now I'm happy to see more people are embracing electric vehicles. But anyway, so I was just curious to read the science and what climate scientists were talking about in this Paris Climate Accord. And they were saying that if every country who joined it in 2015 had followed all these guidelines, and together every country was trying to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, by 2025, they said we were going to peak with the carbon levels. I'm probably not saying this right, am I? I'm not a scientist, but I was just reading about it all day. That the goal was by 2025, we would reach peak levels, and then because of all the mitigation we'd been doing for 10 years, we were going to start going down and things would get better. And then I was sad to read that, this made me really sad, that in 2017, the United States government notified for a country to pull out of the Paris Climate Accord agreement, you need to give a 3-year notice, 3 years. So the United States gave their 3-year notice in 2017. And so in 2020, we were actually a country that left the Paris Climate Accord agreement. And then immediately in January 20th, 2021, immediately we joined it again. And I was like, yay, we're back on track. Our little Earth is going to be saved. But we're currently in it. I don't know if we're going to stay in it. But I think that this is not just a problem of California, and it's not just a problem of the United States. This is a world problem, worldwide. It's an Earth problem, and I don't know, I don't know how it's going to get better if all of humans can't collectively come together and say, okay, we all have to make some changes, and I know it's expensive. Like I remember California. Oh, by the way, so California is thought of as this great big blue liberal state. We're really not. I looked up the statistics on that. 49% of voters in California are registered Democrats. That's not overwhelmingly blue. That's just enough to get us our Democratic governor. But this is interesting. So California has always had the strictest car emissions policies. Like I remember when I first moved here from Illinois, and I drove my used car from Chicago where I lived, and I had to go get smog emissions testing done and everything, and I passed it, but I was told as my car aged and got older, I probably at some point was going to have to buy a car that was with cleaner air. And I was like, oh man, what a hassle. California's a hassle. But now I'm like, oh, thank God. I mean, so California has really strict emissions things for their automobiles that can be sold here and operated here. And as a result, they've been able, because the California auto buyer market is so massive, because of what California's policies are, It's actually changed the automotive industry because none of the automotive makers want to lose the consumers in California. Our state is what, 34 million people. It's a big consumer market. I mean, our state is bigger than many countries. So I'm grateful to live in a state where we have better auto emissions guidelines. But anyway, so but I did want to just explain the fires because a lot of people have been concerned about us and asking us if we're okay. We're all okay. Our dogs are all okay. Everybody's safe. In terms of helping animals affected by the fires, I've been trying to figure out all week what I can do, what the some of my volunteers have been trying to think about what we can do. And we're even we looked at all the shelter websites. We're like, okay, can we just go rescue small dogs? Because if we can just get small dogs out of the shelters, like 30 pounds or under dogs. I'm like, if we can just get small dogs out of the shelters who are already there before the fires, it'll make room for displaced animals. There's no small dogs. They're gone. They're gone. People grabbed them. They're already on planes out of state. There's no small dogs. I think there's one small dog right now in the whole county of Los Angeles, and it's a French bulldog that's paralyzed. And oh God, every shelter has paralyzed French bulldogs. Anyway, so there's no small dogs. They're gone. They're moved out. All the shelters are the same dogs that every state has. Huskies, German Shepherds, Pit Bulls, Rottweilers. I mean, it's sad. It's just sad. And really, prior to these fires starting, we already had a pet overpopulation crisis all over the U.S., truly. And it's all these large breed dogs. And it's so sad because they're not asking to be born, but and the only solution, there's only one solution, and it's spay neuter. And that's the only solution. It's like, okay, so it's like there's a faucet and it's turned on and there's just dogs and cats, and they're just pouring out of this faucet, right? And there are, like, there's this, I'm not going to say their name because I don't want to get sued. There's a national animal welfare organization. Their last tax return said they brought in over $200 million, and they basically troll the city of Los Angeles every week. Their Instagram account talks about, oh, Los Angeles killed 200 animals this week. And it makes me nuts. It makes me crazy because the city of Los Angeles cannot afford to spay and neuter every animal. Okay, they can't. I mean, look, they've got to fund the fire department, the police department. Then they were criticized because last year they moved funds from the fire department to put it to the police department because the police department needed it. Now, so the city municipalities cannot afford to spay and neuter everyone, but these huge national wealthy animal welfare organizations, they can absolutely fix our pet overpopulation crisis. And instead of fixing it by going out into the community with free spay neuter clinics and just spay neuter everybody, go out there, do it. And if this particular organization that I don't know what they have against LA City, but they troll them constantly online. Every week they're posting how many dogs and cats are euthanized. And if that organization could match that number, so let's say the city of LA euthanizes 200 dogs, I would like to see that organization go out that week and spay and neuter 200 dogs. Imagine what would happen a year from now. Imagine if they would just match the euthanasia numbers with spaying and neutering. There would not be all of these animals being euthanized. I mean, that's it. That's the fix. Spay neuter. That's it. So I just want to say to anyone if you're donating to one of these mega famous national animal welfare organizations, question them if they're going to, what are they doing for spay neuter? So I questioned this one organization because they have a Los Angeles branch, and they're like, we spayed and neutered 75 animals last year. I'm like, 70, that's nothing. A rescue group could spay and neuter 75 animals. Oh, and again, I'm not going to mention them, but this same organization, the one that brings in over 200 million a year, is all over the news right now, everywhere. Everyone's seeing it. They must have publicists. They're all over the news because they flew a few dozen animals out of Los Angeles. There's news everywhere. Oh, look, we're saving animals. We're putting them on a plane. A few dozen. That's it. Local animal rescuers are saving more animals than this wealthy group. So just please, okay. Oh, and I want to say, if you want to donate to animals, please consider donating to the Pasadena Humane Society. They are the one organization that is actually currently helping fire victims. The Pasadena Humane Society. I've got it. I've been running a ticker tape on the bottom of the screen. The Pasadena Humane Society. They are located. I'm going to pull up the map. They are located right by the Eaton Fire, and they are taking. I think the last time, what did they post? I'm just gonna. I want to show you on the map. Where is it? Did I lose it? Darn it. Did I lose it? I lost my map. Okay, I apologize. But so the Pasadena Humane Society is right near the Eaton Fire. They have taken in more than 300 victims. So medical animals, fire, burn victims, smoke inhalation victims. They have absorbed over 300 animals. They are continuing to take in animals and treat them and triage them. Can't even imagine what they're spending. Think about this: oxygen, pain medication, IV fluids for over 300 animals that weren't in their shelter 6 days ago. So if you're going to donate to an organization and you want to help the animals that are affected by these fires, Pasadena Humane Society, Pasadena Humane Society, Pasadena Humane Society. Don't send your money to any of these other places that are all over the news. Oh, look, we're flying animals. Look, animals getting on a plane. That's just a show, and it's a money grab, and it's gross. I think it's gross. It's gross. So that's my opinion, and I'm sorry, and I don't want to get sued, so I'm not going to name names, but you will know what I'm talking about, because I'm sure anyone who's seen any news footage has seen footage of animals being put on planes, and we're saving animals. They're just moving. They're just moving bodies. They're not saving animals. So if you want to support the animals of the fire victim animals, please support the Pasadena Humane Society. They need donations, and I don't know what the status is for their dogs that need adoption. I honestly don't. I don't even know if the shelter's open for adoptions, because it's a crisis center right now. They're triaging. But I'm imagining if they have adoptable dogs, they're all the large breed dogs that are hard to get adopted. So anyway, okay, I said my piece. Please donate to Pasadena Humane Society. I haven't been fundraising all week. We on Tuesday night we had a dog. They had to go in for a TPL cert, unexpected. Tuesday night. One of our volunteers had to drive this dog in the winds to the emergency hospital because she completely tore her ACL. She completely tore her ACL and her meniscus. And I'll just quickly show you the extras. But I haven't even started fundraising. I put it on a credit card. I'll fundraise for her, I don't know, like next week or whatever. I'm just going to show you these x-rays real quick if I can find them. But yeah, I had, if you're going to donate money this week, please just support either firefighters, the Red Cross, or support the Pasadena Humane Society. Let me see. Okay, here's our dog who just had surgery on Tuesday night. She, that's her pain patch. She's getting a little acupuncture there. Oh yeah, here's her post-op x-rays. Her surgery was done late at night on Tuesday. Ouch. Ouchie. Ouch. Oh. It's going to be a 10-week recovery for her, and then another 8 to 12 weeks of PT. So the vet said we're looking at 4.5 months till she'll be 4.5 months. Anyway, all right, I'll fundraise for her at another time. But this week is, please, if you can support the Pasadena Humane Society, please do. And if you're going to donate to other organizations, please only donate to organizations that you see are really seriously, that have mobile spay neuter clinics that are going into the communities, the poor community. Those are if you're going to donate anywhere, donate to those organizations, even in your own town. Oh, someone's asking, how is Cowboy? He's awesome. It's like he never got hit by a car. What, Cowboy? Are you sure you got hit by a car? Here's a little Cowboy. Come here, buddy. Come here, buddy. I can't believe he was hit by a car December 13th, and he's acting like nothing happened. So he recovered great. Yes. Okay, so let me look. Oh, Cece. Is it your dinner? Oh, dear, it's dinner time. Okay, let me quickly go through the comments and see if anyone has any questions. Otherwise, I'm going to end this. I know it's really long. And I just want to thank you all for your support. So many people have been emailing us and asking if we're okay. We're all okay. Thank you. It makes us feel so good that people care about us. But everyone's good. All of our dogs are safe. We're safe. Is our community going to be okay? I don't know. I don't know. Cece, what happened? What happened? What's happening in our community? Oh, she's hitting me with her paw. I think she's hitting me because she wants to eat dinner. Let me see if there's any other comments that people need. Let me just see if anyone has any questions before I wrap this up. The other thing I was thinking about is I think all of the U.S. is about to feel the pain from this, because think about having to rebuild 2.5 times the size of Manhattan. Building materials, windows, doors, roofs, HVAC systems. It's going to be a major supply and demand. It's going to be a major shortage. And I think the prices are probably going to surge. And so it's not just going to affect California. I think what has happened is going to affect everyone in the U.S. who's going to be building homes. It's just going to affect everyone. The prices are going to go up. We're all going to be on wait lists for anyone who needs a new HVAC system. What's that wait list going to look like for anyone anywhere in the U.S.? We're all going to feel this pain. It's not just Los Angeles. Let me see if there's any questions before I wrap this up. Let's see. Thank you all. So many kind people. Oh, I should show some of these comments. Okay, I'm going to share some of these on the screen. I'm sorry I missed these. Look at these nice comments. Thank you, Lori Yamamoto. Let's see here. Oh, here's another nice comment. Hi, Misty. Oh, thank you. So nice. Here's somebody else, Debbie Durbin. So nice. Thank you. Oh, this is interesting. Metal allergies. Oh, that's tough. Here's another nice comment. Oh, look at this nice comment. Thank you, Dana. So nice. Oh, the Paradise Fire. Shh. Cece. Cece, come here. It was just Cece, come here, honey. Maybe. Come here. Cece started that. It was just a car door. Oh, Mabel. Cece started that. She heard someone's car door. Cece, come here, honey. Come here, baby. Cece. It just, one dog starts barking and everybody's going. One of our volunteers, after the pair, oh my gosh, shh, Cece, after the Paradise Fire, Cece, one of my volunteers who lives in the Sacramento area, she spent over a year volunteering. Lisa Larkin, she spent over a year. She would go post flyers of lost animals, and she was trying to help reunite people help people with their lost animals. So she spent over a year. I think every weekend, every day, every weekend. Oh, I remember that fire. Okay, let me see if there's any other comments. Let's see. Thank you, everyone. And I think I'm going to wrap this up. I just want to see if anyone else had any questions. Oh, interesting. We were talking about Toby earlier. This is interesting. Debbie Ferraro posed, sometimes the liver can't process seizure medications. That is interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah, Toby's seizures seem to be getting progressively worse. It was scary. Oh, I didn't know that. That's great information. I'm going to ask the neurologist what she thinks about that, or if there was anything different we could have done. Let me see if there's any other comments here. People posting nice things about what Nami communicated with. Okay, I think that's about it. You know what else I just wanted to say, and I know that let me see here. Oh, here's a great question. This is a great question. Kathy Miller, not a stupid question. So, can they pull water from the lakes? They can pull water from the ocean. Yes, that is actually what they're doing. They have these planes. They're called super scoopers, and they fly out over the ocean, and they scoop up water, and they fly it up over the fires. And that's what they're doing. They're using ocean water. The thing is, they couldn't get in the air with their planes until the winds calmed down, and I think they couldn't get in the air until Thursday at around 9 a.m. I think that's when the winds calmed down enough that they could get in the air. But yeah, they're called super scoopers. They're really cool. You can see a lot of the news footage has been showing the super scoopers. So yeah, they're getting water from the ocean. It's really cool. I don't know if anyone saw in the news. We have 2 super scoopers that are on loan from Canada. Thank you, Canada. We love you. So we have 2 super scooper planes on loan from them, and some idiot put a drone in the air. I don't know if you saw this on news. Some idiot, they haven't found the person yet. They put a drone up in the air over the Palisades, and it hit the super scooper. One of the super scooper planes damaged the plane, and now it's grounded. People are idiots. People are just whatever. Okay, people are idiots. So sorry, Canada. Sorry, we damaged one of your super scoopers. You were so nice to loan to us. Oh, anyway, let me see. Let me see if there's any other questions. Oh, yes. Ann Turk, literal firestone. There was something called fire. I never saw this before, but until this week. Tornadoes of fire. Like the fire and the wind, the hurricane wind was doing this, and then there was air in the middle. It was scary. It looked like a Hollywood movie. It didn't look real. It did not look real. It looked like a Hollywood fake movie. It was the fire were making tornadoes. I think they called them fire nados. Let's see. Here's one of our supporters, Nicole. We had hurricane force winds in Omaha, Nebraska. Oh, yeah. Ugh, hurricane winds. You know, I grew up in the Midwest, and I remember we lived all the houses in I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago. All the houses had basements, and we were always being told, okay, tornado weather, go to your basement. I mean, that was pretty regular when I grew up as a child, but now it's just, this stuff is way worse. Let me see here. Yeah. Oh, Elsa. Interesting. We've been told about climate change since the 70s. I was a child. I don't remember it, but yeah. Oh, Anne, you've lived in Southern California your whole life. Oh my God, you'd get a half day off of school if the temperature was over 95. Oh boy, those were the days. Wow. So anyway, all right. I think that's about it. Oh, look, here's somebody. Yes, Pasadena Humane Society. They're fantastic. They're really great. It's a great place. Please donate. Lisa, thank you for donating to them. Thank you so much. And then yes, there's still people all over the US. There's still people recovering from all sorts of disasters. Yeah. So anyway, did you put the link to the shelter in the link? No. The Pasadena Humane Society. Let me see. You could Google Pasadena Humane Society. Let me just Google it right now and see if I can throw a donate link up. Pasadena Humane Society. Here's their website. I'm going to toss it in the comments. There we go. Okay, I just did it post. Okay, I just put it in the link. I put a link to their website in the comments. So let me see if there's anybody else who has questions. Oh, thank you, Lisa. I had already put, look at that. Lisa, you are way ahead of me. Thank you. So anyway, thank you so much for everyone for asking about us. We're good. We're safe. The one thing I could ask, all of our supporters are such kind people and care about us and our dogs. The only thing I would ask is if you see, I mean, social media is just, there's just a lot of people saying really unkind things about Los Angeles. And, you know, California's an easy target. We're always criticized. California kills all their dogs. And that, first of all, it's not true. And that's a myth that people put all over online. They'll be like, California kills all their dogs. Actually, if you Google statistics per capita, so how many shelter animals are euthanized for the population, California is probably in the 80% percentile. There's other states that kill more dogs per capita, more animals per capita. There's a lot of states that kill more animals, but for some reason, California, the myth is that we kill more animals than any other state. It's because our population is bigger, but our per capita rate of animal euthanasia is lower than 20% of the country. So, but yeah, just I've been seeing people post online, oh, the people in the Pacific Palisades were wealthy and celebrities, so they can afford to build a new house. And that's actually, yes, there's wealthy people, but there's also a lot of middle class people. I already talked about this, but anyways, if you see people posting cruel or there's been people posting online like they're happy, they're genuinely having so much pleasure from seeing Los Angeles burn, and I just don't understand that. That would be like people from California like celebrating that another state was having a national disaster. I just don't understand that kind of cruelty and hate. But if you see misinformation online, just maybe, I don't know what, you can't really, people are just mean and cruel and spreading disinformation. And so anyway, but thank you everyone for your support. And I'm sorry I've been a little quiet on social media this week, and it's just because I've just it's been a sad week, and it's not over. It's not over. The two big fires are not contained, and there's more winds coming this week. So who knows what's coming up in the next week, but thank you for your support, and thank you just for your kind concern and all of your people that have been contacting us, but we're safe. Thank you. Have a good night. Mwah! Bye, everybody.